I'm Michaela Towfighi. I'm a Report for America Corps member in Concord, New Hampshire, where I cover inequality through the 2 New Hampshires for the Concord Monitor. Covering inequality is so broad, and in a way that was a blessing. It meant I could do anything from going to the State House, to eviction hearings, to working with our local immigrant community to tell stories that really weren't told before. I think I've really defined the beat to be more focused on housing and homelessness. And I've been able to tell stories about people struggling to live and stay in New Hampshire as they'd like to age and remain in the state, but with cost of living increases in the housing market, it has just been a wild beast to unpack through my reporting. Every story I wrote, I was like, okay, I now know a little bit more about homelessness. I've now done a state legislative session. I've made a source with a lawmaker, and I can continue to build on that. And looking now at my stories and the way that I get my stories, it's night and day different. I now have sources calling me saying, did you hear about this? Did you know about that? You might want to talk to this person or look into that. And I think the stories then are just so much more rich because they came from people in the community who are like, oh, we know Michaela, we know what she covers, and we should put this on her radar. And I think having a beat has allowed me to build a ton of different skills. With housing, I've covered businesses, I've covered development, I've covered the State House, I've covered homelessness, I've covered people who are losing their houses and I'm in their living room and they are crying while talking to me. Being part of RFA has been like the piece that's completed the whole puzzle for me, starting in my newsroom. This is my first job out of college. I work in a really small newsroom that has an awesome legacy and there are veteran reporters there, but it also is really small. There's half a dozen of us. And so having RFA as like a larger network has allowed me to connect with other journalists and be like, wow, they're at a time when headlines are so grim about the state of news and the state of our country. There are hundreds of journalists who are committed to doing local, important work.